All right, Xizt, heroic back into the Spodek yet again. Tell me a bit about getting into the playoffs now. Is that kind of the expectation that you guys have set?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are number one in the world on the HLTV rankings, so we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we also expect a lot from ourselves. I think we're playing better and better by every game, so I'm happy with the results.
For you as the coach, kind of setting up for the teams that you play against, it's looking like you're going to have either Vitality or Fnatic next. Out of those two teams, stylistically, which do you think you guys are set up better for?
Well, I don't think we have like a favorite to play against. We have beat Vitality every time, except last time in Blast where they won versus us. So obviously it would be nice to get a revenge versus them. But yeah, I don't really care if it's Fnatic or Vitality, and we just have to wait and see and do the normal preparations as always.
Like you said, you don't really mind which team you faced, the number one team in the world. Are you confident that you can secure that semi-final spot now that you're in the upper bracket final?
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of the mindset that we have developed over the last 6 months or something like that. That we, of course, we can beat anyone, but we also want to stay number one, you know. And there's no time to relax, and we just need to keep working as hard. And if you want to win against top teams consistently, you need a lot of confidence, and you just need to build on it.
We know that Heroic have gotten a lot more comfortable with being on stage now in the last 6 months, but even going back a year ago, you guys were in the Spodek. Do you think having that familiarity of that stage here in Katowice is going to help the team?
I hope so. Last time we played in Spodek, we got crushed by FaZe 16-5 or something like that. It was really, really tough. But then again, it was one of our first big stage games ever as a team. And I think we have learned so much since that. We have played a whole major playoff on stage in front of 10,000 Brazilian fans, so I think we have grown a lot as a team, and yeah, I expect more.
ESL had the documentary, and you guys were kind of a central focus in that. You mentioned the playoffs in Brazil. There was some points where we saw Kaidens talk about like players like Tesses maybe making mistakes or having that pressure kind of get to them. As the coach, how have you kind of worked with the players through those kind of like issues and growing pains of being on stage all the time?
I mean, I think the only way you can learn is by doing it, by like having experience, I would say. And you could see when we played on the first times on stage, we were really shaky. But I think we have grown much more. It's just about like making less and less mistakes by every game that you play. Of course, at a major, there's going to be a lot more nerves than normal. We have a whole performance staff. We have a mental coach as well that helps the players all the time. So I think mistakes will happen. You just have to accept it and move on.
For the first half of last year, there was kind of a bit of like tension with Heroic in the community, like going into stadiums like say Antwerp at the major, booing quite a lot. And from your side, we got a lot of quotes about like we don't really care what the fans say, or like we want to shut them up if they're booing us. Now that seems to have kind of changed. Is it nice to have the fans back on side, like you kind of winning them over in the sense of how well you're performing?
Yeah, I think like you said, we were kind of booed even in Denmark in Royal Arena when we played against Astralis, of course. We were booed by the Danish fans, so that hurt a lot, I would say. And then in Antwerp, I think we played Navi, who is a huge fan favorite. So, I mean, it's not nice being booed, but we kind of knew why. But I think we have proven, especially like on the server, that we're a really fun team to watch. And I think all the fans out there really appreciate our game style, and it's very exciting to watch Heroic play. And I'm really happy that we have won over a lot of fans by us playing good CS. Of course, we have a lot of good characters in the team as well, like Kaidens. He shows a lot of emotions, and I think the fans appreciate that a lot. And I think people finally get to see who Kaidens really is. And yeah.
You mentioned Kaidens obviously as a character in this team and like the personality he has. We had some news earlier on the tournament that he was feeling a bit sick. Is there anything that you can tell us about his like personal circumstance at the moment?
No, not really. I mean, he's getting better and better. But one thing you can say is that it doesn't really affect him in game that much. I think he's been playing lights out, considering how he's feeling. So I'm really proud of him.
And obviously, you mentioned as well the very fun and exciting style of Heroic. It's such a unique style, and with the success that you guys have had making it to #1 in the world, do you kind of expect, or like, would you be expecting to see more teams try and replicate your unique style?
Yeah, you can already, or we can already see it in other teams that they try to copy our game style. But I think it's really hard to play how we play. You need really good communication. So I think if you're an international team, maybe it won't be as easy, of course. But yeah, we can already see that people are trying to do the same seat decides that we usually do.